Tim Burton was raised in Burbank, California. This is a picture of Tim Burton himself right here. He spent most of his childhood as a recluse. He loved to draw cartoons and watch old movies. When he was in the ninth grade, his artistic talent was recognized by the local garbage company when he won a prize for an anti-litter poster he designed. The company placed this poster on all of their garbage trucks for a year. After graduation from high school, he attended California Institute of Arts. Like so many others who graduated from the school, Burton's first job was an animator for Disney. He worked on such films as The Fox and the Hound in 1981, and he also did The Black Cauldron in 1985. But he had some creative differences from that of his colleagues. Nevertheless, Disney recognized his talent and gave him the green light to go ahead and make Vincent in 1982. It was an animated short story about a boy who wanted to just be like Vincent Price. Ironically enough, this story was narrated by himself, Vincent Price. It was a critical success and it won several awards. Burton made a few other short films, including his first live-action film, Frankenweenie, right here, in 1984. It was a half-hour long. It was a twist on the tale of Frankenstein. It was deemed inappropriate for children, and it wasn't released, but actor Paul Reubens, you may know him as Pee Wee Herman, saw a great interest in Burton's ability to direct and animate, and believed that Burton would be the right man to direct him in his full-length feature film, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, in 1985. The film was a surprise success, and Burton instantly became popular. However, many of the scripts that were offered to him after this were essentially just spin-offs of the film, and Burton wanted to do something new. So for the next 3 years, he made no more films until he was presented with the script for Beetlejuice. And this is a picture of Beetlejuice right here. I'm sure you all recall Beetlejuice. And that was in 1988. The script was wild and it wasn't really about anything, but was filled with such artistic and quirky opportunities that Burton had to take it upon himself to go ahead and do this project. He couldn't say no. Beetlejuice was another big hit, and Burton's name in Hollywood was solidified. It was also his first film with actor Michael Keaton. Warner Brothers then entrusted him with Batman in 1989. It was a film based on the immensely popular comic book Batman, starring Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. The film of the year, it was the film of the year and Burton's biggest box office hit to date. Due to the fantastic success of these three films, he was given the green light to make his next film, and it could have been any kind of film that he wanted, and he chose to do Edward Scissorhands in 1990. One of his most emotional, esteemed, and artistic films to date. Edward Scissorhands was also Burton's first film with actor Johnny Depp. Burton's next film was Batman Returns in 1992, and it was a little bit on the darker and quirkier than the first one. And while by no means it was a financial flop, many people felt somewhat disappointed by it while working on Batman Returns. He also produced the popular Nightmare Before Christmas. Now this is my favorite here, one of Tim Burton's films. It was done in 1993, directed by former fellow Disney animator Henry Selick. Burton reunited with Johnny Depp on the film Ed Wood in 1994. It was a film showered with a critical acclaim. Martin Landau won an Academy Award for it, for his performance, and it seems to be a little bit more popular now, but flopped during its initial release. Burton's subsequent film, Mars Attacks, 1996, not one of my biggest favorites. It had much more vibrant colors than his other films. Despite being directed by Burton and featuring an all-star actors including Jack Nicholson, Glenn Close, Pierce Brosnan, and Michael J. Fox, it received mediocre reviews. It wasn't immensely popular. Burton returned to his darker side and more artistic form with the film Sleepy Hollow in 1999, starring once again Johnny Depp, also Christina Ricci, and Casper Van Dien. The film was praised for its art direction, as was financially successful. It redeemed Burton of disappointment from his prior film Mars Attacks in 1996. His next film was Planet of the Apes in 2001. It was a remake of the classic of the same name. also Planet of the Apes. The film was panned by many critics, but was still financially successful. While on the set of Planet of the Apes in 2001, Burton met his current wife, Helena Bonham Carter, to whom he now has a son with her. Um, Afterwards, Burton directed the film Big Fish in 2003. It was a much more conventional film than most of his others. It received a good deal of critical praise, although it's disappointed some of his longtime fans who preferred the quirkiness of his other earlier films. Despite the fluctuations in his career, Burton has become one of the most influential and popular directors of the late 20th century. One of his latest movies was Coraline, which was an amazing movie. Came out in 3D just a couple weeks ago. And he's also working currently on a couple projects, soon to be released, an animated film called Nine, which looks really interesting, and also another film with Johnny Depp, Alice in Wonderland, a remake. He also did Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in 2005 with Johnny Depp. So he promises to keep creating and being an amazing director and animator, and I can't wait to see what he has to offer in the near future. Thank you.